go to Stanford, California, and join one of the report's co-authors, Paul Ehrlich. Thank you for joining us here on France 24.
My great pleasure.
The biggest die-off of life on Earth since the giant meteor that wiped out the dinosaurs?
That's right, and we're doing it. And since we absolutely depend on the other organisms of the planet for our lives, for the sustenance of civilization, we're basically sawing off the limb we're sitting on. And it's a desperate enough situation so that scientists and even scientific journals feel it's necessary to speak out in no uncertain terms.
Were you surprised by the data you crunched?
Well, the data are necessary to try and convince politicians. You know, we have a government here run by thugs. They're not too bright, and it takes a lot of effort to even bring anything to their attention, as you may have noticed, for example, with the Paris Agreement on climate change and so on. Climate change, climate disruption, actually, is a huge factor in causing the extinction of populations. And it's also largely ignored by our government. So we were not surprised because throughout my life, I've been working on populations of organisms and watching them go extinct. You don't have to be a scientist to know that populations are going extinct because the vast majority of other organisms are not adapted to live in cities, on highways, or on farmland. We've converted about a half of Earth's soil, the most fertile parts of it, to growing food plants for us, wheat, corn, and rice primarily, and other organisms don't mostly eat those plants. For example, there are something like 15,000 species of butterflies that pollinate crops that we need and so on, but essentially none of them feed on the same food plants as human beings do. We need the other organisms of the planet. Yeah, go on.
No, I was going to ask, the fight for biodiversity starts at home, Paul Ehrlich. Here in France, we've been talking about how to stop bees from dying out. What else can be done here at home?
Well, the main drivers of this extinction episode are population growth, too many people requiring exactly the same things that other organisms require, and our huge levels of consumption among the rich. So the first thing that we could do is try and reduce our consumption where we're over-consuming. The second thing is we should have started 50 years ago, gradually and humanely, in the direction of reducing the size of the human population, which is the size of the population is a major driver of climate change, for example. But it will take a long time to do that humanely. We do know from what we managed to do at the beginning of the Second World War in most countries is that we can change our consumption patterns very rapidly. But if you think politicians that are absolutely fascinated by the idiotic ideas of economists that we can grow forever, that we're going to start moving towards population shrinkage and less consumption, I think you're probably smoking something different from what I'm smoking.